welcome to Blockleaders.io. I am delighted today to be interviewing Joseph Fiscella, which is a really unusual name. It's Italian, Fiscella, who is actually fifth generation American, but the name is beautiful. So Joseph, thank you so much for coming on Blockleaders.io show.
Great to be here.
And we're just saying we're in the middle of lockdown, so it's all Groundhog Day all over again. And I was giving out to you because your LinkedIn, you have to update your LinkedIn. There's loads of stuff that you're doing. It's not even touch the LinkedIn pages. So what we want to talk about today, though, is Flow, FLO. And yeah, I looked it up, and it's a public record building of decentralized apps. What does that mean?
So it means when cryptocurrency started, Bitcoin was really the first application, which is money on a chain, right? The idea is to make a decentralized money system. Some people wanted to use Bitcoin for alternate purposes. They wanted to put data on it, maybe use it as a database, like a really slow but expensive database that has some features that other databases don't have. And Flow started as a fork of Bitcoin, or it's a fork of Litecoin, which is a fork of Bitcoin. In any case, 99% the same code as Bitcoin, except it's supposed to be for the purpose of storing data, storing metadata. And Bitcoin is a public record of monetary value and exchange, right? So anyone can go to blockchain.info or any of these other block explorers. You can download the Bitcoin client. You can verify everything because it's all public. It's on-chain, right? So the idea is to have on-chain data as well as on-chain money transfers. And that's what Flow is. And you can think of it as a public record because any data that you put in there becomes part of the public record. And it is truly a public place. It's permissionless. It's like a town bulletin board where anyone can add and read from it. There's no restriction of who can and can't do that.
Is it slow as well, or is it a bit faster? Flow sounds faster than Bitcoin.
So we've got a 40-second block time. It makes things a little bit faster on the development side. Of course, you have to wait for more confirms over time to be sure that everything is secured. But for non-monetary transactions, for just information purposes, the worst that can happen if you don't wait for a confirm is that it gets erased and you have to put it in again later. So unlike when a double spend happens in Bitcoin, where someone could actually defraud you, information is not as, there's not as much of a permanent loss in terms of goods being transferred. And most of the time that you're just trying to get that information in within a ballpark of a day. So I would say it's faster and it's not as, it's actually more forgiving and not as stringent in terms of like the timing of blocks.
So what type of data is being stored on Flow?
Well, you can store any data that you want. Currently, originally the original idea of Flow and the creator of Flow wanted it to be a Twitter system, something like a social media platform where anyone could put the information that they're writing and communicating with others on a chain. And that way it's decentralized, it can't be taken down. It's
so you can't go back and delete your tweets because they're I don't know, incendiary, whatever. It's going to be there forever.
I actually own deletedtweet.com. So kind of like one of the apps I was thinking about making was comparing this, like, people will go back and delete their tweets. Some people take screenshots of them and then put them online. But the idea is, like, if you could actually put a deleted tweet onto the blockchain, then it would live forever in the way that, like, you can't forget someone that said this and then took it back. Kind of an interesting concept, but I didn't want to break the Twitter terms of service and have my account removed. So I didn't pursue that. But yeah, those ideas are very interesting, especially nowadays. 7 years ago, it was kind of a cool concept. Now it might actually be important to make a website like that. Who knows what kind of deleted tweet might actually make a policy change decision, whatever, could change the way that the world works based on what someone had said but decided they didn't want to say later on.
Well, I mean, there's that recent case with Dominic Cummings, the chief advisor to Boris Johnson in the UK. I don't know if you recall or were watching or not, but he got into a lot of trouble because he abused the lockdown, went down to see his parents, came back, went for drives all over the place when he shouldn't have been within 20 miles of his home. And because he was under huge scrutiny, some people went back and looked, because he published some blogs, And because there was the Internet Archive, somebody discovered he had updated one of his blogs from last year while he was on this mad road trip. That's why they were looking at what he was doing. And he'd inserted stuff to make him look much more smart about the virus than he actually was. So it looked as though he was, in his blog from last year, he was actually predicting the rise of a similar virus, but he only put it in like April of this year.
Oh, wow.
But he was only caught out because, as I say, he broke the lockdown rules, and everyone was chasing through everything that he had written in those couple of days, and it came up. So yes, I mean that's just more of an embarrassment to a senior official. But you're right, there could be things that people have written that they either took down or changed or amended, and it has a very different, history is written by the victor, as they say, don't they? Not anymore, maybe.
Yeah, history is a lot easier to account for when you have a blockchain system, because you have verifiable timestamps. Very hard to change those timestamps, right? You'd have to remine all the blocks that were in the past. And you have digital signatures that you can use to verify that it was actually said or written by that person at that time, if they choose to use that digital signature. So yeah, this is a kind of like a two-phase system that can improve upon verifying history.
And do you think, now for example, somebody like the great leader in America who changes his mind every second day, and that's kind of handy for him because he can say, oh, I said this then and that the other. He speaks out of both sides of his mouth, as they say. Not that I wish to divulge my my bias, but like he probably wouldn't like to be in a blockchain system, whereas someone who's quite happy to have their comments recorded for posterity will say, no, I'm quite happy. So do you have to force people onto it, or can you just capture this information regardless of the person's issuing permission or not?
So I've actually looked into this, and there isn't a way to verify cryptographically that someone has tweeted something. I thought originally that you could do it with HTTPS, like how you have the little green lock on your web page every time that you visit a secure site. There's no way to verify that a certificate that you get, some information that you get on the website is valid to that certificate. So you would have to have a web of trust of some sort. People would have to either submit screenshots or submit the text, or like most people just use archive.org, and it's known as a trusted source. But when it really comes to something that's super important, how trusted could they be, right? They could be compromised, they could be coerced. There are a lot of ways to influence what they put on their website. And it's kind of dangerous to assume that one website itself is the authoritative source of history, because they could have a compromised staff member, or they could be influenced by a state and have a gag order or something like that. It's very difficult to actually trust them, trust anyone really, if it's just a single source of information. So I think you're 100% right. People are going to have to sign up to use a system like this to verify that they've actually put that work in or put their content out there, right? Unfortunately, the way the internet works right now, there's no way to prove that, like, if you go to a page, that Twitter actually sent you the data that they sent you, unless they have a specific section of their site that is programmed specifically and precisely for that purpose, which no one really does that right now. Maybe we can make it into a standard, but we're not going to hold our breath.
Do you think that publications might avail of Flow, or are there publications on Flow?
Yeah. So you asked a little bit about use cases of what kind of data is going there. And yeah, some people are putting some writing and they're putting video content into the blockchain. We have one South Korean company called Token Post that's been looking at implementing our software and putting basically a hash of all the writing and the digital signature for their organization into the chain, so that they are 100% sure that if they write something and it gets signed by the author, that it goes in and it's verifiable and it's timestamped. We also have an app coming out called Streambed Media, which is an app that lets you upload to YouTube and Twitter, as well as other platforms that are forthcoming. And the purpose of that is to truly own your data as a content creator. Another thing that we do at Streambed is give people the ability to connect with brands. So now that you have all this verified information, brands have a very strong look into the analytics of your content and who it's connecting to, and sort of like the outreach that you have. So that, like, imagine a brand logging in and they see okay, I'm connected with all these content creators, and this is the demographics that they're connected with, and I have this product that I want to sell, and I think it's going to be popular here. So I can just go through and see which content creators are suitable for me. So we're kind of connecting brands and content creators by giving the content creators this opportunity to have like a one-click upload to many different platforms, as well as the advantage of blockchain and analytics. So that's sort of using blockchain technology to enhance like a user's experience on this app, and then giving brands like a look into what the users are doing so that they can both profit, right? So the content creator maybe strikes a deal to do an ad for the brand, and the brand gets to sell their product to more users and have more accurate information about exactly what the content creators are putting out there.
And I was looking at a video by your colleague, Jenny Pilgrim, and she was saying that, I didn't know, it's something like 40% of the content online is original and 60% is not. Now, it's not necessarily trickery. It's not necessarily, copy for copy's sake. Sometimes it could be fan information. So it sounds like, oh my God, is that all fake news? It's not. There could be a reason why it's a version of it. Is that helpful for brands, or do you use that, or how does that work?
Yeah, I think what she's talking about there is derivative content, right? Where you have someone remixes like a clip from a movie, or they do a reaction video, and maybe like, for example, the news is just content that's based on other content. So I think that, a lot of these derivative content producers and creators do get a lot of views. So I think that our system's open to anybody to sign up for and use, and they'll get the advantages just the same way that anyone else does. And in fact, as we progress with the system, theoretically, what we would want to do is make it so that the derivative content points back to the original content. And then we give everyone a score, which originally Sam and some of the guys had called the butterfly score. But we're going to
the butterfly wing effect, is it?
Yeah, like the butterfly effect, right? So that's the original idea. Like, where does the original content start, and where does it end? Like, what does it turn into eventually after many iterations? So that's something that like you can explore using the app once we've put that feature into it. Wow.
So Streambed is, I was also seeing your colleague Jenny calling it like the town crier. Hear ye, the news. Is that live now, or is that still in beta, or is it, what stage is that at?
It is a beta. You can get an invite if you go to streambedmedia.com.
Okay.
I believe you can enter in your email, and we'll send you an invite to the app. We just got verified by YouTube, so you can log in with your YouTube account. It's kind of like a Google connection thing, right?
Yeah.
And just implemented the Twitter upload as well. So anyone that wants to try it out is welcome to come test it out. It's not exactly open to the public, but pretty much anyone who goes through the work of requesting an invite will be able to try it out.
So what would be my experience like? So if I log on to it, what can I do? And as a journalist and broadcaster, what can I do?
You can upload your videos and you can write tweets. So that's
and how would I grow my audience?
So your audience is the audience that you already have. And the purpose of the app is to grow your brand connections.
Yes.
So for a content creator, it just gives you a simple dashboard to like put your content out on both platforms without having to log into each one of them and write a title again and write a description again. So there are some advantages for you as a content creator. And then, you grow your brand audience because a brand can log in and see which content creators are creating on the platform. And
it's verifiable, and it's true, and it's all those butterfly ratings. How do you make money?
So our idea
will make money.
Yeah, well, we haven't integrated credit card payments yet, so we can't make money yet. But once we have a sign-up service completed, it's going to be based on brands subscribing to a package where they get access to the user's data. So they so you have a brand login where the brand can come in and get some information that we've gathered from our users. And we give the users these benefits using the blockchain to verify stuff. We give them the reverb score. We give them the connection to brands that they're looking for. So we're giving values to the content creators. We're giving values to the brands. And we charge the brands for that service.
So if I signed up, which I'm pretty sure that I'm going to, if allowed, so can I make money from it at this stage? Not
so
directly.
yeah, we haven't got any brands onboarded yet. We're working on the brand dashboard, but you can use it to save time, which would be posting stuff to YouTube, Twitter.
Yeah.
So for now, it's still going to be valuable, but eventually we'll add in this brand feature. And we do have some people who are working with brands that are interested in showing it to them. Yeah, maybe a few of them will sign up. We'll see.
Okay, no, very interesting. And then tell me, what is the immediate future? So do you have a roadmap for the next? I know we're in lockdown and it's Groundhog Day, and it's very hard to think beyond the lockdown or whatever the crazy stuff. So towards the end of the year, well, has COVID upset your plans, or has it just made you work harder?
It's definitely slowed things down a bit. It's given me some time to kind of focus on some projects. But for Streambed, we're just chugging along. It's a mostly distributed team anyway. So yeah, it's going well. I think that the next steps would be to integrate with maybe some more platforms like Instagram and some of the other more popular social media platforms where brands are active and buying, and then get the brands in and get them their own dashboard that they can view content creators' work, and just make sure that they've got what they need to make money off the platform. So
that sounds kind of interesting to me. So, because I'm a journalist and broadcaster, I create content. It's original. Well, as in, I think it's original. I'm sure I'm gathering stuff from other places. So, but initially it'd be it's trusted, so you can see that it is me. It's time stamped. I've created it, and I haven't, plagiarized it from someplace else. And then, but I can post to multiple platforms from the Streambed. Oh, that's cool, because obviously it's a pain in the butt trying to go around and post all different things. And I don't really use Hootsuite or any of the other ones. I find them a bit impersonal, but it's quite nice to think that there's a meaning behind it. Oh, okay, I can see a value. Wow, okay. And how many people have you signed up in your beta so far?
I think it's around 50 to 100. It must be in that range. It's just friends and family, and some from the Flow community who have found the link and kind of stuck their way in there. Some people do their own research now. It's not many, but you're welcome to sign up. Anyone listening is welcome to sign up as well. Yeah, no, I'm delighted with that. Well, thank you very much for your time today. It's been fascinating. And I should mention, of course, your other title that I learned about today is the Blockchain OG. And it's, I'm going, what is that? What is that? And it's Original Gangster. So thank you very much for your time indeed today, Joseph. Thanks. It's been great being here.